In this video, I'll be going over the 3 different share trading platforms that allow you to buy US stocks in New Zealand. These are Hatch, Sharesies, and Stake. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Josh, and as I said, there's 3 different share trading platforms with different fee structures and different features. So I thought I'd condense it all down into one video and do a side-by-side comparison so that you can decide for yourself which one is best for you. And I've used examples to show how the fee structures are different between each of these share trading platforms. So what that allows you is a more holistic picture, and also weigh up the benefits and other features of the platform as well. In terms of ensuring all the information here is correct, I've actually reached out to all 3 of these platforms to ensure that what I'm saying in this video is correct. So I've done my best to try to make sure that it's correct, but I'm sure there might be, stuff that I've missed out, or there's things that I just got wrong. So always make sure you do your own research before signing up for any of these platforms, and yeah, do your own due diligence. This is just a first place for you to look at and further your research. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. So first up, we have the admin side of things. Stake is an Australian privately owned company, Sharesies is a New Zealand privately owned company, and Hatch is owned by the New Zealand Post, the NZ Super Fund, and ACC. In terms of brokerage and insurance, they all use the same broker. Okay, they all use Drive Wealth, and as part of Drive Wealth, you get insured by SPIC. SPIC is the Securities Investor Protection Corporation, which is a non-profit that protects your shares up to 500,000 if a member runs into financial trouble and your investments are impacted. In terms of share ownership, all 3 of these platforms run an in-street name. Okay, so an in-street name is slang for when a brokerage account holds a customer's security and assets under the name of the brokerage firm rather than the individual's name. They all run the same in-street name format, and the reason why is that it reduces cost. In terms of complaint escalation, so Stake is not a financial service provider's register member. And so what this means that if you want to seek recourse or make claims against Stake, you have to do so under Stake's terms and conditions or under common law. For Sharesies and Hatch, however, they are registered members. So what that means is that you can dispute with them under a dispute resolution scheme. Okay, next up we have other features. So in terms of funding your account, on Stake you can use Poly, and bank transfer is coming very soon. The other 2 support bank transfers. For kids accounts, Stake doesn't offer that, Sharesies does, and Hatch will come early November. So I don't know if this is on their website, but they've shared this with me on email. So yeah, you get to know first if you follow this channel. That's why, subscribe right now. Idle funds. Stake makes interest, so you don't get anything. Stake just sweeps it all up, and Sharesies does the same as well. Hatch, on the other hand, if you have idle funds, those are invested in money market funds, and interest is paid monthly. So I think at the moment the rates are less than 1%, but it's better than nothing. You get a few cents for your money in Hatch. In terms of USD transfers, Stake does support that. So you can transfer USD in for $5. Sharesies does not support that, and Hatch does, but you need to reach out for details. For US share transfers in, Stake does support that, and I think they currently have a deal where if you transfer your shares from another Drive Wealth broker, so for example Hatch uses that, then you get a free share in Dropbox. Okay, and they cover the fee with that as well. But for other transfers from other brokers, they do charge a fee. Sharesies doesn't offer share transfers in yet, and Hatch does as well. The fees differ, so reach out to them for that. In terms of an app, Stake has an app, and I've used the app. It's a very intuitive app, very slick. I like it. It's very cool. Sharesies, you can make it an app by adding the web page to your home screen. So somehow the browser feature of it disappears, and you sort of get an app, so it doesn't show the URL and all that. So it's kind of cool, right? Hatch doesn't have a native app at the moment, but you can do the same as Sharesies, but it doesn't make the URL disappear. So it doesn't feel like an app as such. In terms of trading on unsettled funds, Stake offers that, but only on Black membership. So I'll touch on Black membership later on, but currently they are doing a deal where you get Black membership for free until 2021. Sharesies and Hatch both offer trading on unsettled funds. Now moving on to the fees, this is a really chunky bit. So I'll try to go as slow as possible, and then later on I'll show you how the fees look like based on examples. So the first fee on this list is the W-8 bin form. This is a one-off fee to file your US tax certificate and to also benefit from the double tax agreement between the US and New Zealand. So Stake charges $5 for this weight bin fee, Sharesies absorbs the fees, and Hatch charges $1.50. In terms of FX fees, so when you transfer New Zealand dollars into your platform, it gets converted. So that is 1% for Stake at a $2 minimum. You can pay an additional 0.5% for express funding. And for withdrawals, that will cost you an extra $2 for each transaction. In terms of Sharesies, it's 0.4% and Hatch is 0.5%. Brokerage fees, okay, so this is 0 for Stake, and that is their unique selling point, $0 brokerage fees. For Sharesies, it's 0.5% for the first 3,000, then 0.1% above 3,000. So for example, if you have a $4,000 trade, the first $3,000 will cost you $15, and then the $4,000 will cost you $1. So in total, it will be $16 for that trade. In terms of Hatch, it's 1 cent per share with a $3 minimum. So for example, if you are buying 301 share, then you will be paying $3.01. Next up, we have SEC and TAF fees, which are US government fees. And Stake passes that on to the customer. The SEC fee is 22 cents per $10,000 of sales, not buys. So you only pay that when you're selling something. And TAF fee of a very small amount with a maximum of $5.95. So I've done the calculation. It works out to be $1.19 for every 10,000 shares. It's free for Sharesies and Hatch. They cover that. And in terms of account fees, Stake doesn't charge any money for a basic account. And as I mentioned, the Black membership account is currently free till Jan 2021, but it will cost $9 per month after. With the Stake Black membership, you get added benefits that other platforms might not have, such as pro level data, superior enhancements, analyst ratings, and price targets. If you want to know more about the Black membership, be sure to check that out on their website. For Sharesies, they charge you based on your portfolio amount. So the portfolio below $50 is completely free. This is in NZ dollars, by the way. For portfolios above 50 and below 3,000, it's $1.50 a month, and above 3,000, it's $3 a month or $30 a year. With Hatch, there's no account fees. Simple. So it's all a bit complicated, and there's lots of different fees for each one. So let's have a look at actual situations that you might encounter with different amounts and see how that looks. Okay, so that'll give us a better picture of what platforms suit what type of people with what investment habits. So the first one is FX fees. So say, for example, you are depositing and withdrawing money. So say you have a transaction amount of $100. For Stake, it will cost you $2 to deposit and $4 to withdraw. For Sharesies, it will cost you 40 cents for either way, and Hatch will cost you 50 cents either way. If you're trading $1,000, okay, if you're depositing $1,000 or withdrawing $1,000, with Stake, that will cost you $10 for deposits, $12 for withdrawals. Sharesies will cost you $4 for either way. Hatch will cost you $5 either way. And $10,000 will cost $100 for deposits and $102 for withdrawals on Stake. Sharesies will cost $40 and Hatch will cost $50. So Sharesies is definitely a lot cheaper than the rest, and Stake does look a bit more expensive, especially if you deposit in low amounts. So around $100, you're paying 2% for deposits, 4% for withdrawals. Okay. Next up, let's look at buying and selling stocks. So we have here stock A at $100 per share. So if you have $100, you can buy 1 share. And for Stake, they don't charge you any brokerage fees. Okay. So these are SEC and TAF fees, and they're currently less than 1 cent. So hopefully that's not material to you. In terms of Sharesies, they do charge a brokerage of 50 cents and Hatch charges $3. Next up, we have $1,000 for 10 shares in stock A. Again, Stake has really immaterial fees, but less than 5 cents each way. Sharesies, $5, Hatch, $3. And $10,000 for 100 shares will cost you, again, an immaterial amount for Stake. I hope that's immaterial to you if you're trading $10,000 worth of shares. For Sharesies, that will cost you $22 and Hatch will cost you $3. So the next example that we have here is buying and selling stock B at $10 per share. So now we can see that Stake and Sharesies hasn't really moved much when you're buying a stock with a smaller dollar value. But Hatch does increase in their brokerage fees, and that's because they do charge you on a per share basis above 300 shares when you buy, okay? So Stake here looks really good. They don't charge any brokerage fees, but they do pass down some few cents of cost from SEC and TAF fees. And Sharesies and Hatch hasn't really changed other than Hatch increasing slightly when you're buying a higher quantity of shares. To put this into a little bit of context, when you're buying shares in, for example, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, these are shares with share prices, in the hundreds and the thousands. So it's unlikely that you will find something that you need to buy for 1,000 shares for $10,000, okay? It's very unlikely that you'll find a share below $10, although there are some circumstances, and I did run into one of these situations before, so I did have to pay above the minimum amount. So just be careful about that, but in most cases, I'd say you'd be fine with Hatch paying $3 a trade. In my opinion, to round this up, if you're trading in lower trade frequencies and small amounts, then Sharesies is probably the best for you because of their low FX fees and their low trade fees. Stake gets a 1 here because of their high FX fees, right? Because you're getting whacked a few percent for every $100 that you deposit. And Hatch is somewhere in the middle. In terms of low trade frequency and high trade amounts, then this is where Stake shines because, as you see, they don't charge you any brokerage. Sharesies gets a 1 because, it gets expensive. They're charging $22 if you're trading $10,000 worth of shares. So it's looking not so good. But I favor Hatch really because, like I said, you're very unlikely to get stocks that are below $10. If you're trading high frequency and small amounts, then Sharesies is probably best because of the small amounts. You're not paying significant FX fees. Stake is somewhere in the middle depending on how much you trade, because over time, if you trade a lot, you're saving a lot on brokerage, and Stake would be best for you. And Hatch gets a 1 because, if you're trading small amounts a lot, you're paying $3 each time. So that's not really suitable for you. And lastly, if you're trading high amounts and high frequency, Stake is the best because, the FX fees are more expensive, but you save a lot more on your transaction fees. Sharesies, on the other hand, gets a 1 here because they do charge you quite a lot as you trade up to $10,000. And I'd say Hatch is somewhere in the middle. You'll still pay $3 on the flat fee, but you save on FX compared to Stake. Okay, so those are my final thoughts and opinion. So personally, I do use Hatch because I think that's more suitable for my personal goals and my investment habits. But as I said, this doesn't really suit everyone. So if you trade more frequently or you trade smaller amounts, then Stake or Sharesies might be better for you. In either case, I do have a referral link in the description for all 3 of these platforms. Be sure to check that out. You get some benefits when you sign up with them using the link below, and I'll mention what you need to do there as well. I will get a benefit, so if you sign up with that, you're really supporting this channel. You support all the work that I've done compiling all this information. Comment down below as well which platform you prefer, which platform you use. And yeah, hopefully you get value out of this. As I mentioned before as well, this is not financial advice. This is purely for entertainment purposes only, and I'm just sharing with you what I've researched and what I've learned. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in with me in this video. Until next time, take care. subscribe right now.